Hello and welcome back here to the Clark Athletic Center on the campus of Umass Boston as your Beacons will take on the second-ranked Keene State Owls in the Little East Conference. Looking at the matchup between these two teams, Umass Boston comes into the game at 3-5. They lost their first 3 games of the season before winning 3 of their last 5, including a win over Leslie in their last game. That one, a very nice 78-57 non-conference win on Thursday right here at the Clark Athletic Center. On the opposite side, Keene State comes in at 5-2 on the year. Only 2 losses have come against some very talented teams. They lost to number 8 Williams College on Wednesday night. That one, a 103-74 loss in which the team trailed for most of the game. Now we're going to get your Keene State starters right now for the Owls. It will be number 0, Ollie Hunter, the senior forward from Bedford, New Hampshire, 6'3", 200, transfer from St. Anselm College. He's one of the 2 captains on this squad. Number 1, Montel Walcott will start at center. The sophomore from New Haven, Connecticut, 6'8", 235, the biggest guy on the floor today. He leads the team at 6.7 rebounds per game. Number 21, Anthony Mariano, the junior guard from Naugatuck, Connecticut, a former Little East Conference Rookie of the Year. His 17 assists are second best on the Owls. Number 33, Ryan Martin, was the number 1 free throw shooter in NCAA basketball last season. The junior guard from Wayne, Maine, transfer from the University of Maine after his freshman year. Last but not least, it's Eric Fazio, the junior forward from Hopewell Junction, New York, 6'6", 190, 45% shooter on the season. He's second best on the team in scoring at 11.6 points per game. The head coach of the Owls is Rob Colbert. In his 14th season, he's assisted by Kevin Justice, Matt Adams, and Alfonso Michaleski. For the Beacons, on the other side, it will be number 1, Isaac Jenkins, the senior from Italy, 21.6 points per game, as that one is lost there by Brian Clark. He's on the starting lineup, the forward from Miramar, Florida, joined by Vinny DeLucia, freshman guard from Miami. Number 20, Cody Edmond, the forward from Louisiana, as that shot is up and good from Montel Walcott. 8-footer goes for the sophomore, and the Owls are out to an early lead, and they're going to put some full court pressure with 3 guys in the backcourt. That's DeLucia over to Jenkins, cross to Brian Clark. Irving Morales, the point guard, is also in there, so that's the starting 5 for Charlie Titus in his 36th season. It's Clark down low, dishes it back out, catches that one, goes up with the left hand, and they're going to say that one is not going to go, but they are going to get the foul at the elbow, as that was Edmond finding Clark. Strong move there. And they're going to call the foul on Montel Walcott. So Morales will inbound the ball from underneath the Beacons basket. Finds Jenkins. Jenkins leads the team in both scoring and rebounds. 21.6 points per game. That's second best. And that's another foul. This one coming against Ollie Hunter. So 2 fouls within the first 42 seconds of this one for the Owls. Morales to inbound again, leads the team at 3.4 assists. Has struggled with this shot, just 1 for 24 on the year. Jenkins looking to drive, dishes it back out to Vinny DeLucia. He's the Little East Conference Rookie of the Week this week, as Edmond is blocked there by a combination of Walcott and Fazio. Ball sent across, it's Fazio up top, working against Clark, steps back, jumper, and that one's nothing but net. 4-0 lead for the Owls early. Morales trying to break it, sends it across to DeLucia. 2 freshman guards from Florida. Morales finds Clark, trips up, and he's going to get called for the travel as he tripped himself up on that one. And UMass Boston looking to get inside early. Almost forced the 3rd foul there. Ball in the hands of Ryan Martin, former Mr. Maine his senior year. Sends it across to Mariano. Ball comes loose, and it's stolen away by DeLucia. DeLucia averaged 17 points and 2 assists last week, and he gets one there. Oh, as Clark just misses it. Good dish, but Clark couldn't finish. Spoke a little early. Mariano with the 3, front rim, no good. Ball tapped out, and it's Jenkins who comes down with the rebound. Jenkins is the number 2 scorer and rebounder in the conference, 9.3 rebounds per game. DeLucia spots up for 3. That one's off the front rim, no good. Clark taps it back out to Morales. He tries to get it down low. Ball's up and too strong there from off the hands of Cody Edmond. As Edmond and Clark have been getting some looks, ball sent way over the head of Fazio. As Mariano was looking for the big man down low, and these two teams need to settle it down just a bit. 17:54 left to go here in the first half. So we're going to see a substitution. It's Kadeem Coulter into the game for Cody Edmond. Coulter, the sophomore center from Boston, 6'10", 265. Biggest player on the Beacons roster. Attended the Academy of Public Service in Dorchester as Clark tries to get it in to Morales. Sends it across to DeLucia. 3-on-2 opportunity for the Beacons if they want it. Sends it across. That's Coulter up with the left hand, and it's good. Give the assist to DeLucia on that one, and UMass is on the board. 4-2, 17:42 to go here on beaconsathletics.com. Mariano sends it across to Martin. Martin last year was a 96% free throw shooter. Struggled a bit this year, just at 80%. Shot up too strong off the hands of Ollie Hunter, but the rebound is into the hands of Mariano. Sends it across. Mariano step back 3. It's up well short. Airballed that one. And into the hands of Morales. He sends it across. He's got Jenkins. Ahead to Coulter, but he couldn't make the catch. And that's the 3rd turnover already for the Beacons. UMass Boston looking to push here. They've dominated in the paint as of late, 40-11 against Leslie on Thursday. Held Leslie University just 26% shooting, and they have definitely looked to attack the paint thus far. Hunter brings it across the near side. He's got Martin down low. Shot too strong there from Montel Walcott. Hits the rim a couple times and bounces out. Morales pulls up, sends it across to Jenkins up top. Jenkins guarded by Montel Walcott. Here comes the double team. Jenkins looks to take it, brings it back out to Morales. Morales with 19 seconds on the shot clock. Over to Vinny DeLucia. It's almost like there's 3 point guards out there for the Beacons as it's Jenkins throwing it up. No good. Rebound into the hands of Coulter. Goes back up top, and he ties it as it's 4-4. Kadeem Coulter with an early 4 points for UMass Boston. He's averaging just 3 points per game in 7.9 minutes for Charlie Titus. It's Fazio over to Mariano. Keene State in their red uniforms with white numbers in black trim. UMass Boston in their home whites with dark blue numbers as Coulter gets up in the air, sends it across. Fazio can't control it, and that's a turnover there from Montel Walcott. DeLucia has the ball, chance to give UMass Boston their first lead of the day here at the Clark Athletic Center. Morales guarded by Mariano as we're going to see some changes soon for the Owls. Morales drives, sends it across, looking for Coulter. That ball's tapped away by Walcott. Ball comes loose. Mariano sends it over. Fazio goes up top and gets the roll. 6-4 as Ali Hunter found Fazio down low. Now DeLucia looks to drive to the paint. Loses it. Ball comes into the hands of Hunter, and Hunter looks to drive. Hunter has Fazio to his left. Fazio goes up, blocked from behind by Clark, but he'll get called for the foul as he connected on the wrist there, and we'll see Fazio go to the line for 2 free throws. It's a 6-4 Owls lead here with 15:18 to go. First half, I'm Seth Orensky bringing you all the action here from the Clark Athletic Center. UMass Boston already lost the first game of this doubleheader as the women's side lost 65-51. Beacons dropped to 2-6 on the season as Fazio gets that one to fall. Cody Edmond back into the game. He'll check in for Brian Clark, so a extended stay out there for Kadeem Coulter. Looking at Fazio, a 65% free throw shooter on the season, 11.6 points per game, second best on the squad. Fazio, a junior from Hopewell Junction, New York. Extremely quick player. He's a great scorer in transition, which we saw on that one as he gets both to fall. Here comes the double team on Morales. Finds Coulter. Coulter needs to find someone. It's over to DeLucia just before the 10-second call. Edmond sends it over the head of Morales. Only got a tip of a finger on that one, and that's another turnover for UMass Boston. It's an example of what UMass Boston didn't want to do on that possession as Coulter got stuck with no one around him. They got it across midcourt, but it was Edmond there who saw the double team and was forced to make an errant pass. Mariano across. It's Derek Demores into the game and immediately finds the scoreboard. Demores, all he does is score for this team. 20.2 points per game. That's best on the Owls, third best in Little East, right behind Isaac Jenkins as DeLucia goes up and gets called for the charge. Montel Walcott took the contact, saw DeLucia come and slid over, and that's an easy call for the referees as Yusuke Fukada will check in. Fukada checking in for Irving Morales. So a bit more scoring out there, a lot of speed for UMass Boston. Fukada will pick up Martin. Demores was a first-team Little East Conference player his sophomore year, and all-rookie team member his freshman year. Ball sent backside, and that's an easy two for Walcott on the catch. Yusuke Fukada has it all alone in the front court, and he'll pull the ball back. It's now a 12-4 lead for the Owls as they've gone on an 8-0 run. Jenkins with it, still get the score, goes up, off glass, and good. Nice job by Jenkins there to pull back as Walcott was trying to take a second charge, and he nearly comes up with a steal there. Pass intended for Derek Demores. Clark will check in, and it's going to be Kadeem Coulter checking out there. So it will be Clark, Edmond, Fukada, Jenkins, and DeLucia. 4 out of 5 starters out there for UMass Boston. Nico Damasco checks in there for the Owls. So Damasco shot up by Demores, and he gets it. 5-0 for 5 quick points there from Demores as it's a 15-6 Owls lead. Fukada looks to drive, pull-up jumper. That one's off glass, no good. Rebound into the hands of Edmond, puts it up with the left hand. He's blocked. Ball comes loose. Fazio tries to save it, and he does, into the hands of Anthony Mariano, and then there's a double dribble. 15-6, 13:38 remaining here first half. Derek Demores has made an instant impact off the bench. Demores on the year, 20.2 points per game. He's a 47% shooter, leads the conference in made three-pointers per game with 3.5, as we'll see Fazio check out along with Anthony Martin. In the game now is Damasco, Demores, Orlando Ecavara with his first touches. It's a nice play by Fukada to pull up, bouncing around the rim, and he gets it to go. Fukada got a player up in the air, took one dribble and pulled it up just behind the free throw line to cut into this deficit. Steve Boudreau into the game, sends it across to Demores, front rim, no good. Jenkins with the rebound. Jenkins looking to run one-on-two opportunity. He'll pull it back as Martin was in his face. The lone starter left out there, sends it to DeLucia, wide open three. That one's nothing but net, and it's 15-11. So UMass Boston not going lightly against this Keene State squad that has had 2 big runs. Sent across, it's Boudreau finding Martin. Martin looking to drive, has Fukada on him, will pull it back. He's got Boudreau, back to Martin. Demores is out there alongside Damasco. And down low, it's Orlando Ecavara. Shot there just inside the three-point line. Tip, no good, and it's Edmond who comes down with the loose ball, finds Jenkins. 3 players out there. He's got Clark in the paint if he wants him. Jenkins goes up, and they're going to get called for the travel as he was floating up there for quite a while. Mike Caceres will check in there for Edmond. Caceres, the freshman from Opelika, Florida, 6'1", 195. His Cypress Bay High School team went to the district championships his senior year. It's his 8th appearance, averaging 5 points per game in 12.7 minutes. As it's Damasco, the junior forward from Richmond, New Hampshire, with the ball. Sends it across to Demores. Caceres steps into his face. Fukada all over Martin. Ball thrown up there, and it's off the hands of Brian Clark. As it was Steve Boudreau driving in, and he was giving up 4 inches to Clark. Had nowhere to go as the double team surrounded him. 12 seconds left on the shot clock. 12:06 to go here, first half. 15-11, Owls lead. Boudreau now with 8 seconds left on the clock. Gets it over to Martin. Martin tries to drive into the lane, gets tripped up, and they're going to call that one against Vinny DeLucia. That's a tough foul for the Beacons. as they defended extremely well for 28 seconds. We'll see Morales check in for Vinny DeLucia. That's his first foul. New 35 on the shot clock as we see Ekavara bring the ball in. It's Martin working against Morales. Clark tries to get a hand in there, sends it across to Moores against Jenkins. Two of the best scorers in the league. Not known for their defense. Backdoor pass, Boudreau catches it and puts it in. Give DeMoores the rare assist on that one. He has 7 assists on the season, make that 8. Fukada catches it near side. Over across to Morales. Tries to get it down low to Clark. Clark has to move around, sends it across. Fukada, 3 is up, and that's nothing but net. Second triple of the day for UMass Boston, and the deficit is just 3, 17-14 with 11-12 to play. DeMoore sends it across. It's Boudreau looking to work against Fukada. DeMoore and they're going to call that travel. Full court press is there as Caceres gets it over to Morales. Press will back up on this one, and Clark gets run into. Morales finds Caceres. His 3 is front rim, no good, as that would have tied it. Martin crosses over, beats Morales, pulls up, no good, into the hands of Morales, and he'll look to run. He's got Jenkins in front, Fukada on the near side, finds Jenkins. Jenkins working against DeMoores. Looks to drive into the paint, pulls back, finds Caceres, long 2, that one is good, and it's a 17-16 ball game with 10:25 to go. Martin bringing across to DeMoores, who has 5 points and an assist, but those 5 points came on the first possession. Trip there from Fukada, as it was Boudreau falling to the ground on that one. He stuck out a knee on that one, caught the slightly larger player trying to make a move. We see a couple substitutions from Rob Colbert here. Mariano is back into the game. We'll also see some subs for Charlie Titus as Clark and Fukada check out into the game. MJ Bentley and Imbara Cisse. Cisse, the sophomore from Miami, Florida, 6'9", 260. MJ Bentley, sophomore from Orlando. Ball sent across into the hands of DeMoores. DeMoores drives, pull up over Cisse, no good, and Cisse comes up with the rebound. Definitely altered that shot. Cisse is joined by Morales. Caceres, as Morales throws that one off the mark. Really didn't take his time on that one, as Morales is now 1 for 25 shooting on the season, has 9 points because of a 6 for 8 streak on the free throw line. DeMoores no good. Rebound into the hands of Ekavara. Ekavara has some space, tries to find DeMoores, throws it up off glass, no good. Another rebound comes to Ekavara. He's blocked over the top there by Cisse, and he doesn't agree with that one. Cisse picks up the foul. That's his first. And we will see Ekavara go to the line. We're going to see another substitution shortly for UMass Boston. Out there for the Beacons right now, it's Jenkins, Cisse, Caceres, Morales, and Bentley. Haven't seen a ton of Bentley this season. 3 games, 13 minutes. In the span, he's had 3 points, 1 steal, and 2 rebounds. As Ekavara misses the first one, we'll see Jeff Ebbs check into the game, the second senior on this Beacon squad. The swingman from Hingham, Mass. Played under Bob Niffany, former Beacon star at high school in Hingham High School, as this is just his 5th appearance on the season. Has only played 29 minutes. Ekavara to the free throw line. He hits that one, so he's now 6 of 11 on the air. We're going to see a Ekavara check out. Ollie Hunter back into the game, so it will be Hunter joined by Tyler Grillo just into the game, the junior guard from Saugus, Mass, along with Anthony Mariano, Derek DeMoores, and Nico Damasco. Bentley looking to cross over the taller player, goes up and under, is good. MJ Bentley with just his 4th and 5th points on the season, and we've got a tie game here, 18-18, 9-12 to play. UMass Boston sticking around. DeMoores down low to Hunter. Back out to DeMoores. Left-hand 3 from the corner is good. Second three of the day, and it's 8 points for Derek Demores here. Hasn't even played more than 7 or 8 minutes. It's Irving Morales, gets the screen from Cisse, doesn't take it, sends it across into the corner for Ebbs. Three coming from Caceres is up. Front rim, no good, and into the hands of Anthony Mariano. Mariano sends it across. 2-3 zone right now from the Beacon. Cisse anchoring it down low. Comes to Hunter. Hunter puts it up with the left hand, gets the roll as Cisse couldn't deal with the duck under move there from Hunter, the senior from Bedford, New Hampshire. Morales into the corner for Bentley. Looks to make a move, working against Demores. Pulls it out. Ball comes loose, as we'll see Clark check in at the next whistle. Caceres asking for some movement from Cisse, who's got some size advantage. Ball's going to bounce out of bounds, and that's going to be called off the hands of Nico Damasco. We'll see Demores check out into the game is number 20, Jeffrey Woodbury, the freshman guard from Hyde Park, Massachusetts. Averaging 10.8 minutes per game, 3.5 points per game. Not a great shooter, just 38% on the season. It's Ebbs. Send it across to Bentley. 3 on the shot clock. Sends it across. Clark goes up. Fouled, and that hits the rim. So they're going to send Clark to the line for 2 free throws. Great play by Bentley to find Clark on the backside, cutting to the basket, and Clark will have to earn these 2 points. Brian Clark on the year, just a 46% free throw shooter as he misses the first one. He's now 6 of 14. He's averaging 5.5 points per game and a 6.3 rebounds per game. That's third best on the squad. Had a double-double on Thursday, 13 points, 17 rebounds. Both were career highs as he hits the second one, cutting the deficit to 23-19 here with 7:54 to go second half. Bentley gets a hand in on there, and Woodbury will have to help the Owls inbound this one. It's going to be Ollie Hunter inbounding here. Finds Mariano. Mariano looks back door. It's a wall cut back into the game. Tapped away by Morales as it was Grillo trying to get into the paint. It's Grillo, Walcott, Mariano, Hunter, and Woodbury out there for the Owls. Morales, Caceres, Clark, Ebbs, and Bentley out there for UMass Boston. Not a ton of scoring. Clark, Caceres are probably the 2 best scoring options right now for Charlie Titus on the floor. Mariano pulls up from the free throw line, gets that one to fall off the front of the front rim. Back to a 6-point lead for the Owls. Caceres looks to drive, gets fouled, and they're not going to call the continuation. A nice move there from Mike Caceres. So he draws another foul there. We'll see Isaac Jenkins come back in, well, right now as he'll check in for Jeff Ebbs. Senior for senior on that one. A lot more scoring out there with Isaac Jenkins, who can just do anything for this Beacon squad. Morales looking for some help, finds Jenkins. Jenkins in the corner, guarded by the much larger Walcott. Drives, gets, that one is going to be called a jump ball there as UMass Boston has the possession arrow as Jenkins thought he was going to get to draw the foul. Instead, we'll see Caceres check out. Dontrell Thomas, the Little East Conference rookie team member from a year ago, will check back into the game. A very athletic group out there for UMass Boston right now. Jenkins over to Bentley. 27 on the shot clock. Morales looks to drive, throws up the floater, and gets it to go. Irving Morales, just his second made field goal of his collegiate career. He's got 11 points now in the season, and it's 25-21. Another jump ball there as Clark pulled it away from Walcott. This possession arrow will go to the Owls, but great play there from Clark to take it away from the taller player. Tyler Grillo will try to inbound here. Grillo looking for Walcott, will send it all the way deep, and that's Mariano, who had the wherewithal to realize where he was on the court and made sure to step behind the half-court line before catching that ball, as he would have been very liable to be called for that over and back. Mariano wide open three, and that one's back rim, no good. Dontrell Thomas fighting for it. Hunter catches it. Mariano down low. Easy play for Walcott, as it's a great pass from Grillo from the top of the key to find Walcott. Morales tries to go up again, gets that one to fall. 2 consecutive made baskets. Career day for Irving Morales thus far, and it's 27-23 now. Owls lead, 6:30 to play here at the Clark Athletic Center. Morales maybe developing a little bit of confidence after the team's win against Leslie. Woodbury working against Bentley. Pull-up jumper, fade away, no good. Walcott with the rebound, looks to go up strong. That's blocked by Clark. Clark comes up with the rebound, and UMass Boston has a chance to make this a one-possession game. Jenkins looking to drive, pulls back out. Clark, one dribble, elbow jumper, that one's good. UMass Boston is sticking with the Owls in this one. This is a Keene State squad that received 54 votes in the preseason coaches poll. They've won 3 straight against the Beacons. UMass Boston was selected 6th, just received 20 votes, as Walcott catches another one. Great pass from Woodbury, and that one's just too easy. So Woodbury drew the double team, found Walcott back door, and it was a very easy play for the big man, who's been the recipient of several nice passes here in the first half. Morales down low to Clark, working against Walcott, off the glass and good. So Clark gives Walcott some of his own medicine, and it's back to a 2-point deficit, 29-27, 5:15 to go first half. Some defense cheers from the UMass Boston bench, who very happy to be where they are in this one. Skrillo sending across over to Hunter. Hunter gets the foul and goes up and gets it off glass, and one opportunity for Ollie Hunter, who drew the contact from Dontrell Thomas, and Thomas will have to come over and talk to Charlie Titus on that one. Difficult play for Thomas, who was out of position. Hunter had a head of steam and was able to bank that one off glass, and he'll have a chance to extend this to a 5-point game. So we see Martin check back in. Demores will check back in as well. Fazio's up off the bench. We haven't seen some of these starters in a while. Woodbury will check out for Demores. Thomas is in the game as well. And we're going to see Mike Caceres check in here for Bentley. So Coulter and Caceres in there, along with Jenkins, Morales, and Dontrell Thomas. On the other side, it's Martin, Demores, Mariano, Walcott, and Hunter, who hits the free throw, gets that one to go. 3-point play, and it's a 32-27 lead with 5 minutes to play. Irving Morales finds Jenkins into Coulter, tries to send it back to Jenkins, who will have to work through some trouble. Sends it out to Morales. Morales pulls up, finds Jenkins. Step back three is up. That one's nothing but net. And Isaac Jenkins has been quiet this afternoon, but he gets the three to fall. Jenkins made 50% of his three-point attempts, earning him the ECAC Division III Co-Player of the Week last week. Ball is up, no good. Blocked by Coulter. Alters that shot into the hands of Demore. Sends it across for Hunter. Now it's Martin. Martin through the legs of Coulter. Blocked by the rim there as Walcott went up and got rejected. Had an easy layup chance instead. UMass Boston has a chance to tie it or even take a 1-point lead. Morales out to Jenkins. Pull-up jumper from the free throw line. That one's too strong back rim. Into the hands of Martin. Martin's pass intended for Demores is off the hands of a UMass Boston player, and Beacons have a chance to take the lead. Morales looking for Caceres. Getting a screen from Morales. Now he's calling for Coulter. Coulter working against Walcott. Makes a move. That ball comes loose. Thomas picks it up. Throws it up with the left hand, and he gets it to go. 32 all with 3:30 to go, and that'll cause a timeout from Keene State. 32 apiece here. 3:30 to go in the first half. We're going to take a quick break here at the Clark Athletic Center. It's a tie ball game in the first half. And we're back here at the Clark Athletic Center as UMass Boston holds a just caught the tie there, 32-32, 3:15 to play. Ball brought out. Martin with the three attempt. That one's nothing but net, and it's 35-32 as Keene State won't relent. Ball sent across there by DeLucia. Into the corner for Ebbs, just back into the game. DeLucia finds Coulter. Coulter well outside of his range. Throws it up looking for Thomas or the net. Couldn't really tell. That was a poor decision by the sophomore. Demores pull up three. That one's too strong. Coulter in there, taps it across, and he finds Caceres. DeLucia, the general of the offense with Jenkins out right now, and Coulter will draw the foul as he was working against, it looks like, Damasco on that one. Coulter was trying to draw possession down low. And we'll see Walcott check in. It will be for Nico Damasco, the junior. We're also going to see Fazio check in as he's taking a long break. Fazio into the game for Anthony Mariano. So Walcott, Fazio, Demores, Woodbury, and Ryan Martin out there for the Owls. It's Dontrell Thomas, Mike Caceres, Vinny DeLucia, Jeff Ebbs, and Kadeem Coulter for the Beacons. Referees talking to the scorer's table right now. 2:30 on the clock. It's a 35-32 Owls lead here as we'll see Clark check back in as he may have had some kind of substance on his jersey. Got that cleaned up, and now we see Thomas check out. Clark into the game. He'll work against Fazio. Caceres to inbound here. Sends it across. He's got DeLucia back from Ebbs. Throws it down low to Coulter, working the left block. Ball sent across. Shot from Ebbs in the corner. Left hand, no good. Coulter taps it out, but over to Fazio. As it is Brian Clark, who's now wearing the jersey number 55 instead of his normal 30. So he must have had some blood or some other substance. Clark is back on the court, though, and that's a great sign for Charlie Titus' squad. One of the best young players on this team, a great rebounder, and can score a little bit as there's a travel there. Montel Walcott took the ball a bit too far away from the basket, and as he tried to drive, was called for the travel. Vinny DeLucia has it. 1:50 to go, first half. Finds Caceres off a screen. Three is up. That one's too strong. DeFazio can't quite catch it on the first try, but he and Walcott will pick it up. Martin looking to drive over to Morris. Three with a Caceres hand in his face and catches it. Demores opens up a 6-point lead, so it was a 32-32 game, but threes from Martin and Demores give the Owls a 6-point cushion. Caceres to Coulter, left-hand dribble, throws it up, gets it to go. Kadeem Coulter having a game for himself as well. He and Irving Morales are playing well offensively. Blocked from behind by Caceres, but he's called for the foul and unhappy with that call. 38-34, 1:08 remaining in the first half. We'll see Demores, who already has 8 points, go to the line for 2 free throws. Demores on the season, 80% free throw shooter, 12 of 15. Looking to add to his total. He's played in 6 games this season, all coming off the bench, averaging 21.5 minutes per game. As he misses that one off the back rim. Demores has averaged 10 or more in each of his 4 seasons thus far, as we'll see Jenkins come in here if the free throw is made. As Demores gets that one, Jenkins will check in. Jeff Ebbs will check out. A little bit of full court pressure here as it's a 2-2-1 defense from the Owls. Caceres finds Clark wearing the 55 instead of his normal 30, over to Vinny DeLucia. DeLucia will have it, a chance for 2 for 1 here for UMass Boston. 55 left on the clock. DeLucia throws it up off glass. Clark with a catch. That's Coulter there. Now it's Vinny DeLucia out to Caceres. 48 on the clock. Shot clock still down to 11 as that ball did not hit rim. Down to 10. 42 seconds left. Jenkins has it. Looking for Clark. Working against Fazio. Pulls up. Throws it up. Doesn't hit rim. And it's 35 on the clock. Jenkins with the steal. 33 seconds left. Shot clock turned off. Pulls up. Gets it to go. And it's 39-36. 25 left on the clock. Shot clock turned off. And the Owls will get one last opportunity to extend their lead. UMass Boston fans on their feet calling out defense. Titus screaming at his players. It's Martin with the ball. DeLucia out in front of him. Fazio and Clark just to the right. Martin around the screen. Pulls up. Clark with a hand in his face. That one's no good. Rebound comes loose off the hands of Jenkins. And it's 2.7 seconds remaining here in the first half. One last opportunity for the Owls. Cody Edmond checks in for Mike Caceres, so another rebounder out there. Edmond will work against Woodbury. Martin there looks for Walcott. Now he's trying to find anyone. Throws it up to Fazio. Jenkins all over him. Sends it across. Three is up from Walcott, and it's good. Walcott hits the three. The 6'8" big man, and it's 42-36. I don't think Walcott wanted to take that shot, but Montel Walcott came into the game averaging 4.6 points per game, has at least 9 in the first half. That's his first three-point made field goal of the season. He's a 52% shooter. The scouting report on Walcott was he plays above the rim, but hits the clutch three with less than a second to go, and it's 14:55 to go here left in the break. 42-36 as Walcott hits the surprising three-point shot. We'll bring you all the statistics from that first half and some keys for the second half as UMass Boston trails by 6 here at the Clark Athletic Center in halftime to the Keene State College Owls. Hello and welcome back to the Clark Athletic Center as UMass Boston trails by 6 after a Montel Walcott three-pointer at the buzzer gave the Keene State College Owls a little bit more cushion. Montel Walcott, the 6'8", 235 sophomore center from Connecticut, came into the game just averaging 4.6 points per game. He has 11, 1 point shy of Derek DeMoore's 12 points for Keene State. On the other side, for your UMass Boston Beacons, 7 points from Isaac Jenkins, well below his season average as he's averaging 21.2 points per game. He leads the Beacons. 5 points coming from Mike Caceres and Brian Clark, and 6 points from Kadeem Coulter. Had a big first half. His 6 points and 3 rebounds in 9 minutes. His 3 rebounds tied Jenkins for a team high for the Beacons. On the other side, Keene State was led by Eric Fazio, who had 4 rebounds and 6 points. He's the third leading scorer for Keene State. Surprising first half from Kadeem Coulter, and the other guy that was extremely impressive was Irving Morales. 4 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist. Morales has been in the starting lineup for 7 of the team's 9 games at this point, playing 25.5 minutes per game, 3.4 assists coming into the game, but was shooting extremely poorly. 1 for 24 on the year, 1 of 18 from behind the three-point arc, had 9 points in 204 minutes. Well, in the first half of this one, Morales 2 of 3 from the field, 4 points in 14 minutes. Charlie Titus has to be happy with this point guard being a little bit more aggressive and taking some shots that might be a little bit more high percentage for the freshman from Florida. Looking at some other key statistics, UMass Boston 50% in that first half, 16 of 32. Keene State College 16 of 36, 44%. That last 3 from Walcott was the 5th of the first half for the Owls, 5 of 12, 41%. UMass Boston 3 of 8, 37%. Just 2 free throw attempts from UMass Boston, 1 of 2 off the hands of Brian Clark. Keene State College 5 of 7 from the free throw line. In terms of team fouls, 5 for Keene State, 7 for UMass Boston. 2 players have 2 fouls. Vinny DeLucia, the point guard or shooting guard at this point for UMass Boston, with Morales focusing so much on running the point. And 2 fouls on Nico Damasco, who picked up a late one working against Kadeem Coulter. So not too much trouble for either squad. 12 assists in that first half from Keene State, just 6 for UMass Boston. Both teams turned the ball over 8 times. 3 blocks for Keene State, 2 coming from Walcott, who is having one of his best games of his career. 1 block for UMass Boston coming off the hands of Brian Clark. 4 steals for UMass Boston, 3 for Keene State College. In the first half, Keene State College held a lead as large as 9. UMass Boston failed to hold a lead. They had a couple of ties in there. They fell behind 4-0, then they fell behind 12-4. But they were able to bring it back. Both teams had 16 points in the paint. Keene State turned the 8 turnovers from UMass Boston into 10 points. UMass Boston came up with 8 points off turnovers. 8 second chance points for Keene State, who dominated the boards 21-15, including 10 offensive rebounds for the Keene State College Owls. So we're going to take a quick break. Still about 6 minutes on the clock. Then we're going to bring you some keys to this second half. Beacons trailed just by 6 right now against a 5-2 squad. This was a team that if they had played last year, they would have been trailing 15, 20 points potentially at halftime. Charlie Titus said that this young squad will compete, that it might take a little bit of time, but they're going to get back into it. And right now, this is a very good sign for Charlie Titus and his squad to be right in this game. Chance coming into the second half with a little bit of a run to take a lead and potentially upset one of the top 2 teams. Remember, these 2 teams will play later in the season, January 28th, in their second Little East Conference regular season game. That one a 3 p.m. start up in Keene, New Hampshire. Testing, testing, testing. Hello and welcome back here to the Clark Athletic Center as UMass Boston trails 42-36 here in the beginning of the second half. Two teams are back out on the court as we are a minute and 34 seconds away from getting into the second half. Charlie Titus using a couple of different lineups there in the first half. We saw MJ Bentley in there for 5 minutes, had just played 13 minutes all season long. Bentley gave the team a spark. Saw a lot more shooting from Irving Morales in that half. Isaac Jenkins was pretty quiet, 7 points for UMass Boston, just 5 attempts in the game. He leads the team in attempts by a mile with 119 attempts on the season in 8 games. Just 5 in that first half. You have to expect Jenkins to be a little bit more aggressive here in the second half. The team did an okay job of slowing down Derek DeMoore as he was 4 of 10 from the field, 3 of 6 from behind the arc, a couple of good looks. He has 12 points on the day. The problem has been Montel Walcott with 11. A lot of easy layups as he's 5 of 9, including that final 3 to give the team a 6-point lead. I think if you're the Beacons in this one, you just have to focus a little bit more on forcing the guy with the ball to take some better shots instead of leaving some of those easy backdoor layups and then pushing the ball. The team has been extremely successful when Morales or DeLucia is pushing the ball up and finding an open player in the paint or taking it themselves. UMass Boston will start the half with the ball. It'll be Jenkins, Morales, DeLucia, Edmond, and Clark. Saw very little of Cody Edmond in that first half. 5 minutes of play, just 2 rebounds. Cody Edmond came into the game with averaging 21.8 minutes per game, 9.4 points, third best on the squad, and 6.6 rebounds. So hopefully Edmond will have a bit better of a second half as he was unable to get off the bench. Morales here working with DeLucia on the far side. Edmond posting up against Fazio. Fazio's joined by Walcott and Hunters. There's a push there from Fazio. That will be his first foul of the day. First team foul. It'll be the same starters out there for Keene State Owls. Ollie Hunter, Montel Walcott, Anthony Mariano, Ryan Martin, and Eric Fazio. Morales taking his time, finds Vinny DeLucia 5 feet away from the midcourt line. Edmond catches it, one left-hand dribble, pulls it out, finds Jenkins, 4-foot fade away. That's no good. Clark tries to send it out, but finds Ollie Hunter. Hunter working against DeLucia, goes up with the right hand. That's front rim, no good. Fazio tries to tip it in, no good. And it's Jenkins to the races. Jenkins has Clark with him, working against Walcott into the lane, puts it up, fouled from behind, and he'll go to the line for 2 free throws. Isaac Jenkins knew exactly what he wanted to do against the taller Montel Walcott, and he draws the second foul of the day against Walcott. Jenkins will go to the line for 2 free throws, his first 2 free throws of the day on the season. 44 of 60, good for 73%. And you can see what Titus wants to do. Every single chance there's an opportunity to take a odd man rush where UMass Boston has a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-2, they're going to take it. Isaac Jenkins pushing the ball up there, had Clark if he wanted him. Instead, he went up on Walcott, drew the foul from behind, gets both of those to go, and cuts into the deficit. It's 42-38. Now it's some full court pressure here from UMass Boston. Great pass over to Mariano from Fazio. Throws it across for Hunter. That ball is going to go into the backcourt. Tipped, but they're going to say it was off a UMass Boston player. Morales didn't agree with that one. Sends it across. Fazio, a long corner 2 from the baseline. Gets it to go. There's going to be a timeout from Charlie Titus, who's extremely upset with Cody Edmond. 44-38, 18:57 to go. Titus has been upset with his freshman from Louisiana a lot today, as we saw the early pull within the first 1 minute and 15 seconds, and then came in and was taken out shortly after that. Titus is still chewing out his starters right now. 44-38, 18:57 to go. Second half here at the Clark Athletic Center. UMass Boston trying to win their 4th game in their past 6. After losing their first 3, the team has been a lot more competitive. Outside of a loss against number 7 MIT and a opening night loss against Ramapo College, one of the top teams in the New Jersey League, they've been very competitive as that ball is off of Ollie Hunter. It may have actually hit the leg of Vinny DeLucia, but we had a better angle than the referee. Full court pressure coming here from the Owls as Morales breaks through 2 players and will get across the midcourt line himself. Morales finds Clark wearing someone else's jersey in this one. DeLucia nearly is fouled there, hits the long 2, and it's 44-40. Martin working with the ball on the far side in front of his own bench. Morales is there, gets the screen from Walcott, looks to drive into the lane, pulls up looking for Fazio. DeLucia gets a hand in there. Wide open 3 opportunity for Mariano, and that's good from the corner. And it's a 47-40 game. Mariano nearly comes up with a steal on that one, as Edmond's inbound pass intended for Morales was tipped out of bounds. Edmond, one bounce over to Jenkins. Here comes the double team. Gives it away over to Mariano. Left-hand layup. And the behind-the-back pass there from Jenkins. No chance. Sends it across this time to Morales, and it will get across, but it's now a 9-point lead. Jenkins will go up, gets fouled by Walcott, and he'll go to the line for 2 free throws. But those quick 4 points from Keene State, and they open up their largest lead of the day. It's a 9-point lead. Ties their largest lead back at the 14:01 mark of the first half, as we'll see Nico Damasco check in shortly. Jenkins has already gone to the line for 2 free throws in this first 2 minutes of the second half. Hits that one, so he's now 3 for 3. Busy first 2 minutes of this second half as Damasco checks in for Walcott, who's picked up 2 quick fouls here to begin the half. Jenkins' second is up and good. So he now has 11. First Beacons player in double figures. Marino runs into a Beacons player, and they're going to call that one against Keene State. The referee took a long time. It's a great play by DeLucia to take his time, get his feet set, and it was Mariano running into him. So UMass Boston scores 2. They now have a chance to pick up another quick 2 and bring the game back to within 5. Nice play there by DeLucia to make sure that that call could only be called one way. The referee took his good time, but the ball's turned away there by Jenkins. Had 2 turnovers in the past 3 possessions for the Beacons. Sent across by Mariano to Fazio. Fazio front rim, no good. Tipped out by Hunter, and Ryan Martin will corral the loose change. Martin pulls it out as we're going to see Mike Caceres check in shortly. Mariano down low, looking for Damasco, working against Clark, puts it up with the left hand. That one's errant, picked up by Clark. Clark finds Morales, has 4 points in this one, a career high, pulls it across. Over to Clark, long jumper, that one's nothing but net. And it's 49-44. 3 from Martin, front rim, no good, bounces out. Clark with the rebound amongst 2 Owls players, looking for some help from Morales. And he'll give it off. Big rebound there from Brian Clark. Morales will pull it back out, looking for Jenkins. Jenkins working against Hunter. Over to Clark, gets it back. Jenkins looks to drive, pulls it back out, looking for DeLucia. Slightly off the mark with that pass. Morales to DeLucia, down to 10 on the shot clock, 16:50 to go in the game. Jenkins back out, 7 seconds. DeLucia looks to go to work, pull-up jumper. That one's no good. Off the rim, Clark fighting for it amongst a couple players. Stefazio throwing some elbows in the vicinity of Edmond and Clark, and he comes up with the rebound. Hunter over to Fazio. 3-pointer is up, front rim no good. Rebound by Clark as he owns the paint in this second half. We'll see Kadeem Coulter check in shortly. Morales with some quick dribbles, looking for some help, tries to go down low to Clark, couldn't make the immediate catch. Now back to DeLucia, pull-up jumper, that one's blocked. Jenkins with the catch, and it's off the rim and good. 49-46, it was a 9-point lead for the Owls. It's down to 6. Martin with the 3, hits that one, nothing but net. As Ryan Martin has now hit 2 threes in this one. They've both been daggers in UMass Boston's back. Beacons had cut it to a 3-point deficit. They're now back down by 6. Martin was left all alone. DeLucia tried to get a hand in his face, but he was late coming over. Jenkins tries to send it over to Clark, catches the pass back. DeLucia catches the 3, and it's a 52-46 game. Big 3 there from the freshman to answer Martin. Now it's Mariano for a 3. That one's off the side of the rim, no good. Jenkins with the rebound, tries to find Morales. Morales looking for some space. He'll pull it back. UMass Boston is not led in this game at any point. They've caught a couple of ties. 4-4, 15-15 as DeLucia is back out to Clark. It was a 26-26 game. Over across to Morales, looking for his second 3 of the season. That one's too strong. Clark fighting for it. Clark has a wide open Morales down low, and he gets it to go. Didn't even go to the floor on that one, and it's 52-51. UMass Boston putting a scare here in Keene State right now with 14:44 to go. Several substitutes for both teams coming in shortly. Hunter working against Jenkins on the near side, and they're going to call a foul there on Morales, who was trailing Martin. So that breaks a long period of play. UMass Boston has cut it to a point. 14:34 to go here, second half. It's Caceres, Fukada, and Coulter into the game. DeLucia, Edmond, and Jenkins to take a break. So it'll be very interesting to see what UMass Boston can do without some of their best scorers on the floor. Can't imagine that Jenkins or DeLucia will be sitting for very long. Clark and Morales will stay on. It's Martin over to DeMoores back into the game. He looks to make an instant impact, and he's fouled by one of three UMass Boston players there. It was Caceres, Coulter, and Clark all coming to surround the talented scorer, and he'll be back to the line for 2 free throws. DeMoores, 1 of 2 from the free throw line in the first half. He's came into the game shooting 80%. Referees have some problems with the clock. It reads 14:10 to go, 52-51 lead for the Owls. DeMoores is out there with Nico Damasco, Orlando Ecavara, Ryan Martin, and Jeff Woodbury. So both teams sitting a lot of their starters. UMass Boston only leaving Morales out there as Dontrell Thomas will check in for Brian Clark. And it's Ryan Martin, the lone starter out there for the Owls, as DeMoores catches the first. He now has 13. That's his first point in the second half. Give him 14 after the second one. Dontrell Thomas trying to find some help. It comes in the way of Irving Morales. Over to Mike Caceres, and Morales will break the full court pressure. Working against DeMoores into the lane, throws it up off glass, no good. Morales tips that one into the hands of Damasco, and he finds Martin. Martin looks to throw it up. He's got DeMoores. Caceres is there. Foul and one opportunity as DeMoores with a acrobatic juggling play there gets the foul and then gets it up off glass and to go. So it was 52-51, and DeMoores has scored 4 in a row. He could have a chance to make it 5 and extend this lead back to 6. Derek DeMoores quickly has 4 points here in the second half. 16, make that 17 to lead all scorers. Isaac Jenkins, the guy who has a slim lead over him in the scoring battle for the league, only has 11 right now for UMass Boston. Irving Morales trying to find some help. Dontrell Thomas catches it at the elbow, swings it across. It's Caceres working against Woodbury. Thomas with a long 2. That one's front rim, no good. Coulter over the back, and he'll get called for the foul working against Damasco. So that's Kadeem Coulter's first foul. 4th foul on the Beacons here in the second half. 4 fouls apiece for both teams, as Ecavara will send it across. He's got Ryan Martin. We see Morales check out, and Vinny DeLucia back into the game. DeMoores gets tangled up with 2 Beacons players, has to give it up. Martin gets the 3 opportunity, but they're going to call an offensive foul against Ecavara, as it was a moving pick there trying to give his teammate a chance to hit a 3. 6-point lead for the Owls, 13:40 to go. Beacons ball. Moving from right to left on your radio dial. It's Dontrell Thomas sending it across. Vinny DeLucia has the ball. Looking for a screen from Thomas. Doesn't take it into the lane. Over to Coulter. He gets that ball tapped away off the hand. And then it's sent up by Woodbury. Over to DeMoores. Off glass. And that one's good. DeMoores quickly has 7 points here. And the lead has opened up to 8. As it's DeLucia sending it across. Derek DeMoores has made an immediate impact. Came in, it was a 52-51 game. He scored 7 in a row, and it's 59-51 with 13:05 to play. Charlie Titus forced to call the timeout. And you have to figure that Titus is going to go back to his bench and bring out Isaac Jenkins shortly. We're going to take a quick break here, as this was a full timeout. 23 seconds left on the shot clock, 13:05 to go. Beacons ball, trailing 59-51. And we're back here at the Clark Athletic Center. It's a 59-51 point lead for the Keene State College Owls right now over your UMass Boston Beacons. Charlie Titus will go with Kadeem Coulter, Dontrell Thomas, Mike Caceres, Yusuke Fukada, and Vinny DeLucia. So he's going to give his starters a bit of an extended break. The starters checked out of the game trailing by 1. It's been opened up to a 8-point deficit right now for the Beacons as Derek DeMores has taken over since coming off the bench. Caceres with the 3 from the top of the key, no good. Coulter fighting for it. Damasco boxes him out and comes down with the rebound. Ryan Martin, the lone starter out there, leaves it for DeMars. Look to the 3, throws it down low for Echevarria, trying to get around Thomas. Now it's Coulter there, triple team. Woodbury out to DeMars, working against Caceres, and it's an easy play for Echevarria down low. Another backdoor cut from a Owls big man for the easy 2, and it's a 10-point deficit, the largest of the day. Fukada trying to leave it for Coulter. He can't make the catch. He'll have to bring it back out. Looking for some help, throws it across the court for Caceres. DeLucia has it. 10-point lead, the longest of the day for the Owls. 12-10 to go here, second half. DeLucia looks to go to work. Player goes to the ground, and they're going to call the offensive foul as Echevarria went down on the floor hard. DeLucia's second foul of the day. 5th foul on the Beacons. 5 fouls also on the Owls as we see Clark check back in. Fukada onto the bench, giving UMass Boston a little bit more scoring, and we're going to see Clark pick up the foul there. He tried to get his hand in there, coming up with a steal. Jenkins out there as well, so it's Jenkins, Coulter, Clark, DeLucia, and Caceres. 16 fouls now, so we'll see Keene State shoot the 1-and-1 on the next foul coming from the Beacons. DeMores over to Woodbury. Woodbury sends it to Echevarria. Now it's Martin on the far side. Martin tries to get back down low to Echevarria, working against Clark. Up and under. That one is no good as he hit the side of the glass on that one. Over to Caceres. Head fake, throws it up. Hand in his face. Front rim, no good. Falls down. Comes up with the rebound, though. Nice play there by Caceres. Just couldn't get the basket to fall. DeLucia over to Jenkins. Needs to take this game over and soon. Vinny DeLucia has it up top. DeLucia working. He's got Caceres. Hands it off to Jenkins. 20 on the shot clock. 11:15 to go in the game. Looks at a very long 3 and passes that one up smartly. DeLucia has it dribbling up top with 10 on the shot clock. Working against Martin. Trying to find Clark. Clark, one dribble off glass. That one's too strong. Coulter can't get the rebound. And Damasco once again boxes out the larger player. DeMores catches it off glass. No good, as that one was a bit too acrobatic for the senior. Caceres into the lane, leaves it for Coulter, left hand, and can't get that one to go, as he left it up a bit too short on that one. And UMass Boston is struggling to score. They've been held scoreless for the past 2.5 minutes, and they trail by 10. Martin pull-up jumper. That one's front rim, no good. Damasco comes up with the rebound, tied up with Clark, and they're going to get that one and the N1 opportunity as Damasco pulled it away from Clark at the last possible second, threw it up, draws the foul, and it's a 12-point lead right now for the Owls. A chance to make it 13 as we see Fazio check in for Echevarria and Tyler Grillo back into the game. Morales is back in for UMass Boston, in for Coulter. It's Morales, Jenkins, Clark, Caceres, and DeLucia, as Damasco's shot is no good. Woodbury sends it across, looking for Fazio. Tried to get it back down low to Damasco. That one's tapped away by Clark. We'll see Montel Walcott check back in for Damasco, and we're going to see a timeout here from Charlie Titus. 63-51. Keene State leads. It's a 12-0 run right now for the Owls, as it was 52-51 3 minutes ago, and the Beacons have been unable to score, and Derek DeMores has taken over for the Keene State College Owls. Still plenty of time left in this one, but UMass Boston has to find a way to slow down the senior from Feeding Hills, Massachusetts, and find some kind of scoring threat on their own side, as the normally reliable Isaac Jenkins hasn't been much of a scoring threat today, only has 11 or 12 points and has been mostly quiet for UMass Boston. He's been the reason that the Beacons have been so successful over the past 6 games, but it hasn't been his normal self. We're going to take a quick break and then bring you the rest of the action here from the Clark Athletic Center as it's a 63-51 lead for the Keene State College Owls over your UMass Boston Beacons. And welcome back here to the Clark Athletic Center. Keene State inbounding the ball down low. It's Fazio, double teamed here by Caceres and DeLucia. Finds Woodbury up top. Woodbury, elbow jumper, no good, into the hands of Grillo, and he'll pull it back out with 15 seconds left on the shot clock. Grillo working against this 2-3 zone from UMass Boston. Sends it into the corner. That's DeMorris. Back out to Grillo, down to 7 on the shot clock. Finds Woodbury. Woodbury in the corner, down low to Fazio. That's over the head of an Owls player and out of bounds. So UMass Boston forces the turnover there as Keene State was unable to connect on the rim on the first attempt and then couldn't find a way to set up their offense. Morales will give it off to Brian Clark. Back to Morales up top, gets a screen. Looking for Clark down low. Instead, he'll give it off to DeLucia. Down to 9:40 on the clock here. UMass Boston right now has been outscored 12-0 in the past 4 minutes. Clark has to pull it out, and he's going to get called for the travel as he couldn't keep his pivot foot. Double team came, and he was looking for Caceres in the corner, and it's been a ugly set of possessions right now for the Beacons. Can't get anything going on the offensive end. Grillo working against the 2-3 zone. Forced the turnover on the last possession. Derek DeMorris takes a long three. That one's off the side of the rim, no good. With Vinny DeLucia coming out with a rebound. That one was easily a 25, 26-footer. Vinny DeLucia tries to pull it in. Out to Isaac Jenkins. Jenkins working against DeMorris. DeMorris has had the better end of that battle thus far. Morales over to Jenkins, takes a three in front of his coach. That one's front rim, no good. Over to Fazio, finds DeMorris, who's cherry picking, throws it up with the left hand. That one's no good. Jenkins can't get the rebound, and it's off of Jenkins. Woodbury came from behind and tapped the ball out of Jenkins' hands and out of bounds. DeMorris has taken a cherry picking quite often on those long shots from the Beacons. Fazio found him there, couldn't get the finish. But it's Keene State ball, 25 on the shot clock, 8:40 to go in the game as Fazio looks to work against Clark, throws it up off glass, gets it to go. A lot of contact there, full court pressure coming. Morales gets around it, finds Caceres. Caceres with Walcott to beat, gets fouled, and he'll go to the line for 2 free throws as Caceres took it right at the big man and drew the contact. For Walcott, that will be his 4th foul. And that's the 6th foul on the Owls. So we'll see Walcott check out and Damasco come back into the game. But right now, that's the biggest worry for head coach Rob Colbert as his team leads by 2 touchdowns and 2 extra points right now with 8:30 to go. Caceres steps up to the line on the season, 7 of 11 from the free throw line. 63%. As we'll see Damasco check back in for Walcott. Caceres gets the first one to fall. First UMass Boston points in quite a while. It was a 13-0 run. Caceres gets both to fall, and here comes the full court pressure from the Beacons. Fazio finds DeMorris. DeMorris has a 2-on-1 opportunity into the corner for Woodbury. Passes up the 3. Double team comes, that ball's loose, and Jenkins with the steal. DeMorris in front of him, leaves it for Caceres, can't make the catch, and he'll have to pull it back out. Caceres looks at a three from the corner. That one's too strong, into the hands of Clark. Clark had Jenkins wide open down low, but missed the opportunity, and UMass Boston will pull it back out. Trailing by 12 here, it's Jenkins looking for Clark, working against Damasco. Couple dribbles, pulls around, tries to throw it up glass, and they're going to call the foul there on Damasco. That's Damasco's third foul of the day, and Clark will go to the line for 2 free throws. Clark in the first half was 1 of 2 from the free throw line. 46% shooter on the season. 7 of 15. Clark takes one dribble, throws it up. That's back rim, no good. Very quick motion from Clark, the freshman from Miramar, Florida. Attended Everglades High School. He was a soccer and basketball player. The team MVP at Everglades his senior year at Eastern Conference All-Star Honors. Averaging 5.5 points per game and 6.3 rebounds as part of this starting lineup. As we'll see MJ Bentley check in for Caceres. Bentley played 5 minutes in the first half. This is his first appearance in the second half as Demores and Woodbury will check out. Back into the game are Mariano and Ollie Hunter. So Demores making an instant impact, but he'll take a seat for the crunch run. As we see Clark hit both of those, and the deficit is back down to 11. Ollie Hunter swings it across to Mariano. Now it's all the way across court to Ryan Martin. 2-3 defense has slowed down Keene State significantly. Hunter finds Mariano trying to drive baseline. Back out to Hunter on the near side. Hunter guarded by Jenkins, leaves it across for Damasco. Damasco down low to Fazio, off glass and good. So Keene State attacks the interior of that 2-3 defense, and they're able to extend the lead back to 13 with 7:22 to go. Jenkins has the ball, Damasco in front of him, throws it up off glass and gets it to go. Jenkins, a strong move there. Here comes the double team on Hunter as Morales and Jenkins tried to corner him along the sideline. Martin with DeLucia in front of him. Over to Mariano. 7 minutes exactly to play here on beaconsathletics.com. As Martin swings it over to Mariano. Back to Martin in the corner. Finds Fazio. Ball tapped away by Clark. And it's DeLucia who comes up with it. Fazio was all over him. The ball is tapped out of bounds. Beacon's ball. It'll be Clark inbounding it here. Not a ton of full court pressure coming from the Owls. Just a one-on-one here as DeLucia easily breaks the pressure coming from Mariano. Into the corner for Bentley. Over to DeLucia, up top to Jenkins, who has started to take over this game, but needs some help. Morales working against the much larger Fazio, crosses him up, but doesn't do anything with it. Now it's Bentley, over to DeLucia, down to 10 seconds on the clock. Jenkins goes to work, pulls it up, ball comes loose, working against Hunter, leaves it for Clark, tries to find Jenkins, down to 3 on the shot clock. Jenkins has to put it up, he's blocked, and the ball falls into the hands of Fazio. Mariano gets stripped from behind by Bentley. Morales dribbles through 2 players. It's a 4-on-3 opportunity. Leaves it for DeLucia. 3 is up, and that's good. UMass Boston down to an 8-point deficit. A strange series of events as both teams turn the ball over, and DeLucia finds the ball in transition, hits the 3. Fazio catches it, gets fouled, and he'll go to the line for 2 free throws as he was wide open in the paint, and Bentley and DeLucia tried to give up the contact and make him earn the 2 points from the free throw line. They're going to give that one to Bentley, and we'll see Fazio go to the line for 2 free throws. Fazio on the season, 65% free throw shooter. Came into today with 32 attempts. Fazio, the junior from Hopewell Junction, New York. His 11.6 points per game were second best on the team as he gets the first one to fall, and Fukada will check back in for Irving Morales. We're going to see Demores check back in shortly after the second free throw for Fazio, or at the next whistle. Fazio misses the free throw, but it's caught by Damasco, and he gets it to go as Clark couldn't get over in time, so it's 3 points instead of 4. Fukada has it. Double team. Fazio comes from behind, gives up the foul, and we'll see Fukada going to the line for the 1-and-1. as that is the 8th team foul on the Owls. Keene State leads 70-59 here with 5:39 to go, and we'll see Derek DeMoores come back in as head coach Rob Colbert sees his team giving up a little bit of the momentum. It'll be Fukada, Bentley, Jenkins, and DeLucia, along with Kadeem Coulter, who checks in. Out there for the Owls, it's Ollie Hunter, Anthony Mariano, Nico Damasco, Ryan Martin, and the ever-exciting Derek DeMoores. Fukada's first free throw is off the back rim, no good. Jenkins gets a hand on it, but it's into the hands of Ollie Hunter. Martin looks to push, finds Derek DeMoores working against the much smaller MJ Bentley. UMass Boston back in the man-to-man. Hunter working against Coulter. That's a mismatch with Hunter so much quicker than the 6'8" center for UMass Boston. DeMoores with the long three. That one falls, and the lead is 73-59, largest lead of the night for the Owls. 14-point lead as Jenkins struggles to get it across midcourt. Throws it up. That's no good. Ball bouncing around. Hunter comes up with the rebound as Coulter couldn't come up with it. And it's DeMoores in transition. Leaves it off for Martin. Three is up. That one's good. And this game is getting out of hand. 76-59. 4:53 to go. And we'll see the timeout coming from Charlie Titus. Irving Morales will check back in shortly. Two quick threes coming from DeMoores and Ryan Martin, and the deficit goes from 11 to 17. Remember, it was a 52-51 game. In the course of the past 8 minutes, the Owls have gone on a 24-8 lead, and UMass Boston played 28 minutes with the Owls, who were projected as the second best team in the conference. Over the past 8 minutes, it's been all Keene State College, as UMass Boston hasn't been able to score, and they haven't been able to slow down Derek DeMoores, who has been all over the scoreboard tonight. DeMoores easily has reached his 20 points per game. We're going to take a quick break here on beaconsathletics.com, bring you the last 4:53 of game action, and then hopefully we'll be able to talk to Charlie Titus after this one. Keene State leads 76-59 over your UMass Boston Beacons. And we're back. It's Irving Morales with the ball for the Beacons, bringing it up court. He finds Vinny DeLucia. DeLucia into the lane, gets stripped, but the foul comes, bailing out DeLucia, and he'll go to the line for the 1-and-1. The 9th team foul on Keene State. Mariano gets called for that foul. Just his second with 4:44 to go here. DeLucia to the line for the 1-and-1. 72% free throw shooter on the season. UMass Boston wasted their last 1-and-1 opportunity as Yusuke Fukada missed the front end. DeLucia gets that one to go. 76-60 to go here with 4:44 remaining. UMass Boston looking for their first conference win of the season. This is their 9th game of the year, and they've yet to leave the state of Massachusetts. That will change shortly as the team will play their next game in New Orleans. DeMoores' corner three is good. Give him another one. That's his 4th three of the game, and that extends the lead to 79-61. Morales over to Clark. Clark at the free throw line. Double team comes over to Morales. Back up top to DeLucia. UMass Boston will play 2 games in New Orleans as Vinny DeLucia strokes along too. cutting the deficit to 16. They'll play 2 games in New Orleans as part of the holiday showcase at the end of the month as DeMorris tries another 3, no good. Rebound into the hands of Anthony Mariano, sends it across to Ryan Martin. And they won't play their next home game here at the Clark Athletic Center until January 10th, exactly a month away from today when they take on the Plymouth State College Panthers at 7 p.m. As Martin finds Ekavar, swings it across to Damasco, down low to Hunter. Hunter double teams, working against Thomas, throws it up off glass, no good. Rebound into the hands of Jenkins. Jenkins looks to DeLucia. DeLucia crossover dribble into the lane, throws it up with the left hand, no good off the front of the rim. It's Hunter pushing it, has DeMorris. He goes the other way into the lane, leaves it for DeMorris, near corner 3. It's up. That one's off the mark. Hunter with the rebound. Martin will pull the ball back out, working against Jenkins. Keene State already 5-2, looking to move to 2-0 in conference as Martin gets that one to go amongst the bigs, and it's a 81-63 lead right now for the Owls. Caceres catches it, puts it up off glass, gets the spin as that ball was on the cylinder for 3, maybe 4 seconds. It was a brilliant pass there from Jenkins up court, and we're going to see a timeout from Colbert. See, he's frustrated with his team's transition defense. 81-65. This game is close to over if UMass Boston can't get some defensive stops. The Beacons held the Owls to 32 points in the first half, but in this second half, the Owls are already above 50 for the half, and this is a team that averages 80-plus points per game. UMass Boston only averages 71 points per game. They love the pace in the first half where they kept it a little bit slower. UMass Boston shot 50% for the half, held the Owls to 44%. Neither team attempted more than 36 shots. That's a pretty good pace for this Beacon squad that has so many young players. They also forced 8 turnovers here in the second half, though. UMass Boston's been a little bit more sloppy with the ball, and Derek DeMorris has taken over. It was a 52-51 lead for the Owls. DeMorris checked in, scored the next 7, made it a 59-51 game, and then has hit a couple more threes to pile on to the Beacons. Right now it's Martin working against Irving Morales. Morales trying to tap that ball away, finds DeMorris on the near side, working against Caceres. Down low is Damasco and Clark denies the entry pass, taps it over to Jenkins. Morales brings it up court, finds DeLucia for another 3 from the corner. That one's front rim, no good. Into the hands of Martin. Martin is double teamed in the backcourt. He'll find DeMorris right at midcourt, and he'll easily break that one across. Martin trying to slow this one down to 20 seconds on the shot clock. 2 minutes left in this one here at the Clark Athletic Center. It's an 81-65 lead for Keene State over the Beacons. Martin dribbling away the clock. Now he goes inside. He finds number 14, Cody Snow, making his first appearance of the season. Snow, the senior forward from Leyden, Massachusetts, suffering from an MCL tear last season, makes his first appearance, described as a freak athlete by the Keene State College SID. Ball sent across. Tom Doyle making his first appearance over to Jim Heppel. Heppel gets that one to go. So Heppel is on the board. The sophomore guard from Newington, Connecticut. Over to Jenkins. Jenkins tries to drive inside, leaves it across for Caceres. 3 is up, no good, too strong. And it's a rebound into John Boyatis. Boyatis, his sister Emily, plays for the Keene State women's team. Center cross, no good by Boyatis, and it's tapped up and in by Orlando Echeverri. So Colbert's substitutes all out there on the court, and they're extending this lead. It's 85-65 with a minute to go. Caceres up and under play, no good. Rebound up into the hands of Boyatis. Sends it across to Heppel, triple teamed. Now it's Cody Snow. Snow into the hands of Doyle. Over to Snow, tapped back to him, throws it up and gets it to go. So Cody Snow with his first 2 points. And UMass Boston will have it here with 41 seconds to go, likely the last possession. Jenkins pulls up, throws it up off glass, can't get it to go, tries to tap it to himself. Rebound is into Tom Doyle on that 3-on-1. Heppel sends it across to Boyatzis, leaves it for Cody Snow, and it's becoming a bit of a acrobatic show as we'll see Cody Snow go to the line for 2 free throws. UMass Boston extremely frustrated in this one, 87-65, and the Beacons just haven't been able to do anything over the past 12 minutes. 12 minutes to go, they were trailing 52-51, but as Snow gets the first one to go there on the 1-and-1, it's now 88-65. A 30, as he hits the second one, a 37-14 run over the final 12 minutes of the game to end this one as Morales throws up a 3, no good. Rebound into the hands of Tom Doyle, and Doyle will try to dribble this one out. He's across midcourt, leaves it across for Boyatzis. Colbert tells his team to not take a shot. It's Heppel sending it across over to Cody Snow. Snow will dribble off the clock, 1 second to go, and that'll do it. Keene State moves to 6-2, 2-0 in conference. Your UMass Boston Beacons fall to 3-6 on the year, 0-2 in the Little East Conference. Frustrating loss for Charlie Titus' squad. The goal was, once conference time came along, the team would be extremely competitive. They wouldn't get blown out like the way last season ended. And for 28 minutes, it wasn't the fact that they weren't going to get blown out. It was the fact that they had a great chance to win this one. But Keene State wins their 4th in a row against UMass Boston. The Beacons haven't won a game against the Keene State College Owls since 2009, and they'll have to wait until 2012 to potentially come away with the victory. These two teams will play January 28th up in Keene, New Hampshire. UMass Boston drops this one, their last home tilt of the calendar year. We're going to bring you the stats shortly. Thanks for listening in here on BeaconsAthletics.com all season long. We'll bring you the stats. Hopefully we'll have Charlie Titus come up and chat shortly as the Beacons drop this one 89-65 here at the Clark Athletic Center. And we're back here at the Clark Athletic Center. It's an 89-65 victory for Keene State College over UMass Boston. Here with some stats. The leading scorer for UMass Boston, 15 points apiece for Isaac Jenkins and Vinny DeLucia. 7 rebounds from Jenkins. Both totals well below his season average of 21 points and 9 rebounds per game. Brian Clark added 8 points and 8 rebounds for the Beacons. 9 points from Mike Caceres off the bench. 6 coming from Kadeem Coulter, all in the first half. 6 points from Irving Morales. That's a career high as he added 2 assists and 2 steals in 30 minutes of play. For Keene State College, the story was Derek DeMoores. 25 points, including 13 in the second half, 8 of 19 from the field, 5 3-pointers, and 4 of 5 from the free throw line. 3 other players finished in double figures. It was 13 from Eric Fazio, the team's second leading scorer on the season, and 11 each from Montel Walcott and Ryan Martin for the Owls. UMass Boston shoots 30% in the second half, 9 of 30, 40% for the game. On the other side, Keene State College, 51% from the field in that second half. They finished the game at 47.9%. 3-point shooting, UMass Boston 2 of 9 in the second half for 22%, 5 of 17 for the game at 29.4%. Keene State College heated up in the second half, 45.5%, 5 of 11. They hit 10 triples on the day out of 23 attempts, 43% for the game. In the second half, UMass Boston was able to get to the line, 9 of 11 for 81%, 10 of 13 for the day, shooting a crisp 76%. Keene State, 6 of 8 in the second half from the free throw line, 11 of 15 for the game at 73%. Looking at the rebounding totals, it was utter domination, 48-28 in favor of the Owls. 20 offensive rebounds for Keene State, 10 coming in both halves. It was 21-15 at halftime, so a plus 14 total for Keene State, and that's a big reason why the Beacons find themselves not only in the losers column, but losing this one by 24 points, as the Beacons were able to not turn the ball over, just 12 turnovers, 4 coming in the second half. They totaled 11 assists, 22 assists for Keene State, including 6 from Anthony Mariano.
They're much nicer down there.
But UMass Boston falls in this one as the Keene State College Owls get 42 bench points and come away with an 89-65 victory. We're going to take a quick break, see if Charlie Titus will be joining us, and then we'll wrap up here from the Clark Athletic Center as the Beacons fall 89-65. Hello and welcome back to the Clark Athletic Center for the final time this afternoon and for the final time of 2011. I'm Seth Orensky. Glad to have been bringing you Umass Boston Beacons games this fall. We'll be back in 2012. Charlie Titus will not be joining us this afternoon, so we're going to wrap up this broadcast as the Beacons fall 89-65. Remember, the team's next game will be December 29th when they take on Eastern University as part of the Big Easy Challenge in New Orleans. The next home game, not for a month, January 10th, when they take on Plymouth State right here at the Clark Athletic Center. For Keene State College, they'll play next Sunday when they travel to Fort Lauderdale to take on Mount St. Vincent. So make sure to check back on beaconsathletics.com for all your men's basketball coverage and all your Beacons athletics information. That'll do it for us, for all the folks here as part of the broadcast. Thank you very much for listening in and have a great weekend. Signing off.